Woo!
There he is.
What's going on, my brother?
The man in the mirror.
Oh my gosh. I'm asking him to change his
Change his
ways.
ways. Yeah. And no message could have been any clearer. If you
I
want
don't
to
actually
make
know
the
the
world
words.
a better place, take a look
Prepare the place
What you say?
and make that change.
Change.
Oh man.
Dun, dun.
You know what we need to
It's
do?
real.
You need to play that Budapest concert on like Zoom, and we need to all watch it together and just sit there at how mad that concert was. Do you remember the Dangerous tour?
No, I don't remember that at all. Tell me about it.
Oh, geez, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna send you a link. It was mad. Michael Jackson came out. He came out to jam, and he just stood there for like 5 minutes, like this, and then he moves and he takes his glasses off, and it's like, it was mad. What's up?
Man, how's it going, brother? This is DJ Doni Brasco that we have with us here. Everybody give a clap. Can we get some hearts going? Can we get
Do you know what I'm saying? Where's my horn? Let me blow it.
Jeez. That's weak.
Up into the
That is weak. That is weak.
How are you, bro?
I'm good. I'm feeling really good, man. I was telling the other person I was speaking to just a minute ago. I woke up this morning not feeling too good, man, not feeling too hot. And I just felt like, you know what? If I don't get my shit moving today, then the shit's not going to move because it's down to me. So I got it together and I thought, you know what? Let's do this. Got my stuff off to you, got my stuff off to the other person. And here we are, man. So I'm feeling good, man. It's weird because it feels like, you know, when you were probably playing in the clubs and stuff like that, like there's this like rush of kind of adrenaline, like you're getting ready for this big night out and stuff like that. With the whole coronavirus, it feels like it's been lost a bit. But I feel like today, I felt like, you know what? Like I'm getting ready for something. It felt good, man. It felt good.
No, it was I just literally just went and changed my clothing to something a bit more presentable as well. So like the getting ready thing, it does feel like you need to. I've run out of laundry, bro. Corona laundry, I just can't deal with it. No, it's weird. It's been a weird energy. I think it's this full moon thing that's just happened. Like, you know, so much of the past and I don't know what's happening. I felt really kind of deflated for a bit, and then woke up yesterday. I'm like, yeah, fuck, I'm gonna win the world again.
Gotcha. Let's win it. Let's win it. Right. No one. So for the people who don't know who you are, tell us a bit about yourself and your background.
Bro,
who the hell are you?
Who are you? Bro, I was just I was a proper fanboy of DJs. Like when I was little, and I went to a party, there was this guy standing there, and he's there, and he mixed 2 tunes, and my mind was blown. So I was always a fanboy. I was a little fat kid that would go to like parties, weddings, and stuff. That'd go, and rather than like, you know, eating the food, well, I'd eat the food, but rather than sitting on the dance floor and hanging around and making friends, I'd stand there and just watch the DJ like a proper weirdo. I'd just sit there and watch the DJ. And as soon as I became 18, my mum used to save up all my money for my birthdays to, you know, like in Asian customs, everyone just gives you money because they can't be asked to actually get to know you, you know, and like know what your interests are. What they do is they just turn around and give you money and say, shut up. Right. So that happens. And it's like, that's what I feel Asians do sometimes. So my mum used to
they'll give you like $3.99 or something like that, or like $7.99. I'll be like, what is this? I'll be like, no, it's auspicious.
I don't.
No, take it, man.
It's the £1. It's the £1. So like, you can't give a round number. You can't give like £10. You got to put 11. You can't give £21. You got to put 21. Like, I don't know where it comes from. Like, it's just I don't know, brother. Like this, I'm sure someone will know. But so they used to give money, and my mum used to put in an account for me. As soon as I turned 18, I stole that passbook. It's from Halifax. I stole it. I didn't ask her. I stole it. There was £800 in it. And I spent all £800 on 2 really rubbish turntables and some speakers. And I thought I was going to be a DJ. I hid them from my mum. And then one day I'm in my bedroom. I used to take them out under the bed. I used to take them out, have a little mix. And I looked up one day and like, my mum's just standing there. I'm like, oh, shit, here we go. My life is over.
Incoming call from 077.
Someone's trying to call me, bro.
Don't worry, man. Just
That's right.
Just speaking about that, like I grew up. I think we're similar ages. You're younger than me by a couple of years, but I grew up when the whole parental advisory was on like the front of the tapes and stuff. It's probably still on there, but like you had this sticker, like it was like, this is like kind of like 2 Live Crew, Too Short Time. This is like gangster raps there, and like there's a bit of conscious stuff. And I remember like I used to have these tapes, and I used to have to hide them underneath the couch and like the bed and stuff. And like the worst thing is if your mother found that you're listening to like a 2 Live Crew tape or something like that. That was the worst, bro. That was the absolute worst.
Me So Horny, my God, 2 Live Crew, you brought it back right now, isn't it? Sitting at home with my
yeah.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird, like when I DJ at weddings, like you can't put songs with swearing in them, you know, and it kind of like really, it's like, yeah, well, you know, with Asian things, I think people like, if you put something that's just turning up and saying like pussy or like dick and all this sort of shit, and you know, if there are a bit of profanities in there, it's not the classiest thing to say like play at a wedding, but you know, I mess up every now and again. Like one of my favorite mixes, like E40 I Don't Fuck With You with Punjabi MC, and like it's really scary because I'm like, I don't and it's like I have to play the Khalid version. It doesn't have the same verse. We just ordered KFC in it. We're getting ready for rum and roti, bro. We didn't have no roti.
So, don't worry, man. Don't worry, man. Okay, cool, man. So you started DJing then at 18ish, is that it?
Yeah, so it was 18, 19. I started DJing. I was just a real geek about it. My mum I was at university. I was studying in Oxford Brookes. I was doing human biology and biochemistry. I wanted to be a forensic scientist. It was like my calling, bro. I wanted to work with the police and stuff. I was gonna get in there deep and like solve crimes with forensics and stuff like that. But then, yeah, like my mum, while I was in my second year, my mum had like 2 strokes in like the time I was at university. So I had to leave university, come back and be a carer for her. At that point, like all I needed to do was just make money. So I started working in security. That was like my first like kind of job. I worked in security and then kind of went through things and started DJing. I joined up a little Asian roadshow type thing with my mate. Which didn't suffice me. Like playing for parties just didn't suffice me enough. I mean, I know it sounds weird. Like I'm one of those DJs. Like I'd love to rock a crowd, but for me, like being a DJ is so much more than just that. Like my inspirations are people like Who Kid and Green Lantern, and then DJ Premier, and like what they do for music. Like you know, everyone talks about Primo. Like everyone talks about Primo, and no one talks about him just about his DJ. Like, he's a sick DJ. Right? He's a sick-ass DJ, but it's his production that gets down. So for me, for a DJ, it's like so much more. And Who Kid I mentioned is because like there's so many artists I would have never heard of if it wasn't Who Kid. And I remember Westwood over here in the UK, like he was very influential at the time when I was growing up. You know, Westwood was the guy, he was the big dog, bow down and kiss the ring, and I don't wear no jewel. Like he was amazing. But I remember watching on YouTube, I think it was on YouTube. It must have been on YouTube, like early times. He must have flew Joel Santana over. The whole Dipstate crew. So he flew them over and literally paid for their flights. They stayed in his crib and he's just driving around London trying to get him to clubs and they're hosting where he's done. And I'm like, this is what a DJ needs to do. A DJ is not a person who just presses play on a tune and say hands up in the air. It's like, I really don't feel. So like for my drive for DJing is I'm never satisfied. Like, you know, I started playing at my university SU, which was all cool. It didn't suffice me. Started doing the Asian Roadshow, done a few parties, done a few weddings, had the massive screen.
Roadshow? Sorry, what's the roadshow?
The roadshow is a kind of umbrella term of like you rock up there, you put a whole rig in and rock out again. So you know, like you get sound systems, where they kind of umbrella term roadshows to mean you go in there with AV, audiovisual equipment, lighting. Like the DJing aspect at a wedding is the most minimal thing in there. Like, you know, no one really cares because you're going to play the same 100 tunes on the same playlist. You're going to keep on that in that kind of list, and you have to kind of play to the crowd. So it just didn't suffice me because I was a DJ because I was a nerd. I was getting into it. It's like it's my craft. I want to get into it more. So I think that's kind of how the development happened. Like now I've got to a stage where I scratch and I practice turntablism. I'm not amazing at it, but I practice it. I've managed to get opportunities where for 3 songs I've had released where I'm providing the scratch samples, and it's brilliant because I get paid for that because there's not many people that can do it. You know, like you can't, you know, you sit there and be like, yeah, you DJ, but how many DJs can scratch and stuff? So I got those opportunities. I've managed to meet up with artists, and the reason I'm meeting up with artists is because I'm becoming a bit of a tastemaker with music. Like I have a style, a sound. I'm brown. I love the big.
What is your, so that's good, that's a good point. What is your style, man? Is your style the same from when you came in when you were 18-year-old? Is it changed or?
Yeah, no, so I started on UK Garage. Like, I don't know why I say UK garage. Like, where else does garage even come from? I don't know. But I started off with garage, and like, I loved it. It was brilliant to learn how to mix the beats, the vibe, the energy of what everyone's on. Then I started getting into hip hop because you start changing music to learn more styles.
Yeah.
And then I started, you know, I started meeting a lot of other DJs. I think what my sound is, I love Asian music. I love it. You know, if I hear a sitar, a tabla, a dolki, a dol, a sarangi, anything Asian, or a lick. Like, there was a tune by Damien Lazarus called Ancient Moons, and it's like a housey vibe kind of tune, but he's straight lifted a kawali on it, and like, he's just done so amazing with it. It's just such a flipping vibe, bro. If I'm in a club, I'm like, So that does something to my soul and my heart and my mind that I can't explain. And it's not because, oh, that was a big beat, it was a dirty drop, but it's just the fusion and the culture. And that's what's become my things. Like, I've always tried to explain myself as style as a boundary challenger. I don't want to sit. Like, a lot of people say multi-genre, open format, all these kind of like things. I think Menace is saying that as well, multi-genre styles. Like, I don't know, because I don't sit there. I wouldn't say to you anymore that I'd want to go and do a cheese set, I want to do a pop set or a hip hop set. Like, I just want to fuse stuff that sounds dope. But it's hard because now DJs are not breaking records. They're not out there pioneering stuff. They're just entertainers to keep people happy in the environment they are. So it's a really weird situation with, so when you're in a club, like, there's no way I can go and play something that might be dope as hell, but it's brand new. You know, I'll have to go and play I'll have to play Khalid and Drake.
So I see where you're going. I think it depends. I think it depends on, is it your own night that you're pushing, or is it a night that you've been brought into play? Because if you have obviously there's a crowd as well too that you're trying to please, the promoters you're trying to please. But if it's your own thing, then you can kind of be a bit more kind of adventurous, I feel, in terms of what you're playing.
Yeah, that is, but it's really hard task. Like, to ask a DJ to be a promoter, like, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to practice at home and make a dope ass there? Or do you want me to be on the street selling tickets and telling you to come to my gig? Why should I come to your gig? Oh, it's gonna be sick. You know, it's like, it's very hard. You know, with everything, I think in Star Wars they said it, there's always two. There's a master and an apprentice, and you always need the one, you need someone to counterbalance it. Like, so for example, Rum and Roti, the idea of it, the celebrating of the two cultures and the way it can work is going to be phenomenal. But I'm nervous about how to get people down there, because how do you measure a night at it? Not about how good the quality of music is, it's about how much people came and had a good time. So it's really different. We're doing the lives, and I'm sitting here, I've watched every set, I've been at every set and watched it while it's happened, watched it back and then edited it. And I'm learning so much by watching all these other DJs. It's like, it's been the best journey of my life.
Learning about what? Learning about what?
Just the music influences, the way they mix, the choices, what they do, the energy, how they conduct themselves, how they put their things. It's amazing. Like, who takes what seriously, who comes up, who turns up on time, who doesn't. It's a lot. And, you know, for me, DJing, for anyone that sits there and think they've got an MP3 collection and they're a DJ, like, yeah, cool, you can DJ as in the per sense of it. It's like, yeah, you can drive a car, but it doesn't mean you're Ayrton Senna. It doesn't mean you're like Lewis Hamilton, just because you can drive a car, right? And that's the way it is. And I feel the whole thing about DJing is they've really dumbed it down. So people now think if they can mix two tunes and maybe put a siren on, or you know, or just say put their hands up in the air, that becomes the epitome of what a great DJ is. And I believe that's something called social amnesia. We are dumbing ourselves down to fit our environment rather than elevating. We're not elevating anymore. And that really worries me. And that's why when Rum and Roti came up, like, you must have turned around and start watching it and thought, fucking hell, man. Like, you've seen, I don't know, we had Palm Panissa on last week. You know, he was doing some dirty cuts with the drum and bass and bringing in the Bhangra style. And, you know, and he was scratchy mixing, then he was bringing in, like, it was a vibe. We had Kishmeister coming on. Like, Kishmeister, he brought to our attention Asim C, who's actually Chabuddy G, you know, who's like absolutely amazing in his entertainment side of it, but no one knows about how deep his lyrics are and what he's about. I shout to Rishma at the moment. She runs I Am Hip Hop magazine, and they've just done an interview with him as well. So I'll be excited to see what goes on. So there's just so much. Like, then we had Manara. Fuck, bruv.
Yeah.
You saw the Manara set.
She killed it. She killed it. She killed it.
What the hell was that? So any female DJ that just sits there, presses a button, like plays the latest pop chord or something, and just stands there with her long nails doing this. I appreciate that you're entertaining a crowd, but there's a quality niche of people that need more. And if we're just sufficing and always entertaining a crowd, we kind of like really lose our environment. We have to always keep pushing boundaries forward. And that comes down to even what you're doing. Like, you started off with the whole thing is you weren't feeling yourself and you didn't have the energy, but you had to push through. You had to be your level best to push through today.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I believe with DJing. Like, people say to me, 20 years, 18 years I've been DJing. Like, how are you still nervous? I'm nervous at every gig. Like, my butterflies are going crazy. I'm nervous because it means that much to me. Like, I want every gig to be amazing and I want to perform to my best. You know, I always want to perform to my best. But at the end of the day, like, why I DJ is, I love breaking music, man. I love bringing out new sounds and I love sharing. I just love sharing. When I find something great and I share it with someone, I feel like the world becomes a beautiful place. When I smile, you smile. You know, and if I find something that makes me feel like, ooh, so what better way to do that than as a DJ?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I was thinking earlier today when I was thinking about our conversation, like the DJs that I'm really rating and the DJs that I'm feeling are, the majority of them, they all know what vinyl is, right? They've all carried the crates. I've carried crates, right? I've lugged the crates till my hands have the marks in my hands. But like, it's those
callous,
people that
baby, callous.
Yeah, the calluses, man. It's those people that were on the 1200s and stuff like that you know, were at that point in time before the CDJs and all that stuff came out, that that understand the levels to it and are trying to push the boundaries, really, right? Just kind of pushing the whole culture and turntablism and everything forward. So cool, man. Okay,
we're here to spread joy, man.
Say again?
We're here to spread joy at the end of the day. Like, so when you're entertaining at a party, you're here to spread joy, and like, however you do that, it's got to keep going. But you've got to be different. Shout out to Kai, by the way. He's on later on, Rum and Roti.
Yeah. No, I saw him. I saw something that he had on his profile, and it was basically like a mashup of I forget what the song was. It was like rap and like a Desi song or something like that. But I think it's dope, man. I think it's dope. I think both of the sounds, they go together so well. So I've always been curious as to why people haven't really attempted it before, really. You know, there are a handful of people that I know that are doing this. You know, I throw you in there and you're coming more from the kind of like, I feel it's kind of hip hop with some Daisy stuff. Then there's like Manara's in there as well too, and she's kind of from a different angle as well too. You know, there's November Rose, and there's that whole kind of No Nazar out in Cali and things like that are doing their thing and kind of have it from a different way and stuff. But I'm just trying to figure out why it's taken so long for these two kind of cultures to kind of mesh together.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's the kind of like what happens with Desis. Like when Bhangra comes in, they fully, like, there'll be one Punjabi, but he'll be equivalent to 100 people, and it kind of takes over and changes the dynamic a little bit. And you know, it's a novelty of it. Like every Asian I know, man, loves off the whole Afro vibe. You know, like, you know, every Asian party I've done, like, always the main set is all Afro vibes. You know, and
in the club,
I don't know why it doesn't happen.
The club,
huh?
In the club.
Yeah, so like when I'm doing, like, you know, when we're playing places, nearly everyone, the Asian, you know, the Asian places, of course, if there's a Bhangra night or a Bollywood night, it'll be more towards those kind of niches of music. But if you go, like, say for example, if I'm playing and there's at a bar and there's like a big group of people celebrating birthdays, like the Afro music always goes. I've done an impromptu, but I shouldn't be saying this because it was a bit naughty, right? But there was a little house party that ended up happening last night in Kensington. So like 9 o'clock last night, I get a phone call. I'm like, we need some tops, we need some bins, we need some decks, we need a DJ from 12 to 4. I'm like, what is this? Some rich guy apparently he's just gone out with his mates. There's nowhere open, so he's just told all his mates to come back to his house for a house party. I've brought up to his place next to the V&A museum, right, on that strip from V&A, and there's like 7 floors of a house, bro, and they're just having a like house party in it, and it was weird anyway. So I went there, but even there, like, yeah, they were listening to the old school hip hop, they're there, but as soon as As soon as like Jaja came on or something like that, that's it. Boom, they were gone. Everyone's moving. Everyone's shacking out. Once the women move, the men just love it, innit? They'll just do whatever. They'll just do whatever.
What were you playing?
I played for a little bit because it's been so long, innit, man? So it was supposed to be just a hire, and I was going to leave the equipment there and go because I don't want to be involved in it. Yeah. But I got there, and there was like a vibe, man, and I couldn't, little.
I'm out after the first time.
I'm out, I've had a shower. You know what I mean? I've had a shower. I've charged up my laptop. I'm ready to go, man. So it's nice.
Man. I lined up my beard, man. I'm feeling good,
And then I got there, and then the requests start coming in. I looked at them. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to DJ out no more. I'm done with it. Let me go home and do Twitch. But no, it's all fun, man. I don't know why the cultures haven't fused. It should come together. Maybe everyone's scared of each other.
Yeah, I think so, man.
Maybe everyone's scared of each other.
Cool, man. So we talked about, so you're a turntablist, man. So you're into the culture and things like that. You told me about a trip that you did to India, and you had your little I forget what they call. You had your mini turntable with you or something like that, and you were spinning on Spain or something like that. What was that trip about? Tell me about that.
Oh man, it was so basically my cousin was getting married in India, right? And I'm like, I need to go to this wedding, right? Because it's the first one since like my mum passed away, and I'm like, from the UK, I'm like the only family member over here. So I thought I have to go, and like, my mum's really fond of my cousin, so it was my nephew who was getting married. Right, so I went out to India. I'm sitting there. One of my uncles actually, he had a stroke, so he was quite ill. So after the wedding, I went to see my uncle, and I stayed with him. But when I got there, it was so fun. He's with his family and everything. They got the whole family, man. But it was so draining emotionally that I got so depressed living with my uncle. So I stayed for like 4 days. That's the max I could do, and I felt destroyed, bruv. I felt like I cried. Like I was on a live, I'll never forget this, and I cried on a live because I just felt so alienated. I'm back at my motherland, but I felt like no one's me no more. Like my existence is not real. So I fucking cried, and the next morning, I booked a coach or a bus ticket, some dodgy cheap bus ticket. Went to Chandigarh and decided I'm going to spend a week trying to do things to make myself get better. And all I could think is the only way I feel good is by creating. So I had a little mini portable turntable by Newmark. I'd done some adjustments, soldered some new little parts on there, made a little crossfader, went out there, got my laptop, and I'm sitting everywhere, random places. So I got a train from Delhi to Chandigarh. I DJ'd on the train, right? The set was about 20 on the train. So like there's all these people on the train. Everyone's like reading their paper, just looking at me like, what the fuck's going on? And like, I know I was playing Bollywood. I played Bollywood on the things. I kept it safe. So I'm sitting on the train. The video's on YouTube. So I think if you type in Doni Brasco and DJ,
hit the link, man. Hit us with the link. So
I'll
tunes on a train, right? Yeah.
It's shit, bro. I've got no views on it. No one gives a fuck about it, right? No one cares about a video. But I thought it was sick. I put like 2 camera angles on. The police have come on the train and they're walking past. Everyone's so polite. Like I'm sitting there. I'm on a table. I managed to get a table seat. There's a guy next to me and he's reading his paper, but he's looking from the side like, what is this guy doing? Start playing music, and I wanted to hang a GoPro up somewhere. So he looked at me and he goes, pointed at the top of his bag. He goes, hang it on there, and like you'll get a good camera. I'm like, raw, safe, G. So now I'm DJing. I turned around to everyone and said, look, guys, I'm filming a thing. And they're like, are you a YouTuber? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, are you a YouTuber? Shit, man. Shout out to the accent, right? But and I said, yeah. And like just because I thought I was a YouTuber, I said yeah. So all of them start helping me. I needed, like you get the SD cards out of the phone. So when I start uploading the video and do lives, I needed to get the SD card out of my phone. So I couldn't get a little pin. And there's this seat guy sitting like 2 seats away. I'm looking for a pin, and he looks at me. He goes, do you need something to take the phone out? I'm like, yeah, do you have one? He goes, no. And he pulls out the pin out of his turban and he gives me the pin to take it out. Like, it was so surreal.
That's love.
But watch the video, right? Watch the video. Everyone loved it. Everyone was cool. People were helping me take my stuff off the thing. But on the video, I'm playing music and it's actually loud, but no one's reacting. No one's reacting. Everyone's as cool as fuck.
You wanted Auntie to like step up and like start twerking or something like that, right?
Well, I don't know. I wanted some chenya on the train at least, brother. I wanted someone to like start. No, I don't know. I didn't know what to expect. I was really scared, man. Like I was walking around. I had my laptop. Yeah, I had my deck. I had a GoPro. I had my 2 phones. I had a little mini deck that you could mix on as well. So combinedly, the equipment I was carrying around just in my bag was about $3.5 grand. And I was an absolute idiot because I got told off afterwards that I was just setting up all this stuff by a lake. There's another video on my Instagram where I'm by Sukna Lake, and I'm just setting up this whole rigs and talking to random people. So these random guys met up, and they're like, we're singers. So they took me in their car, and like they say, well, let's go to studio. My cousin phoned up, and he's like, what the hell are you doing, bruv? You're in some random person's car going God knows where. So it's weird. I'd love to turn around and say to everyone, go out there and be free as well. But I suppose there's an element. I think I got lucky at sometimes when I was doing these kind of things. But it was phenomenal, man. I felt everywhere I was getting, the love was beautiful. People were helping me out. I was in a mall. It was Madhubala. She's an old actress. It was Madhubala's birthday. So I'm in the mall, and every day now, because I've done one video. It's, you know, people, there's a couple of hundred hits on it. People are messaging, say, bro, that's sick. Woken up day 2, I'm gonna do another one. So every day I'm thinking of a new idea. So at home, when I'm sitting in the hotel, I'm editing the sounds, I'm making the instrumental that it's gonna mix up, I'm having the idea, then I'm going outside and doing the video, recording it, then editing it at the next place, and then uploading it by the next, because of the time difference, uploading it, so 9 o'clock there's a new video going out. So that was my cycle for a week. So I'm in a mall on Madhubala's birthday, and I had a little sound clip of one of her songs, done a little mix. In the mall, I'm sitting there. One guy must have, I've forgotten his name. I'm really bad at this. Right? I've forgotten his name. Sahil. I think it was Sahil. His name was anyway. So he's in the mall. He works at one of the ice cream factories, but he actually owns. His mum owns 2 of the ice cream factories in there, and like they're little huts that they do. They're not massive businesses. They're not massive businesses, or whatever. So he comes up to me. He brings me a tub of ice cream. He brings a tub of ice cream over to me, and he goes, "This is for you." And he goes, "Don't worry, it's safe." He goes, "That's my shop." And he goes, "I see that you're working, or you're a YouTuber or whatnot." And he's giving me ice cream, bro. Then he took me to his mum, where his mum works. She works another one. She's cut up some fresh fruit, giving it to me, and then like it was just mad, bro. I was like gang. I was making friends. I ended up in a place in Chandigarh again called Social. Done another little video, doing my little things, and then these people from Ladakh. So they're Oriental-looking, Hindi-speaking people. They're from Ladakh, right? And it's just fucking beautiful. Like I have a real thing for like Oriental looks, but like I have a little soft spot for that, right? And I'm there talking to these people, and then all of a sudden they've ended up taking me through to another club, like, and some tea shop and stuff. All because I was just DJing and I was doing something different. So when they're looking on my Instagram, they're like, "Oh my God, this guy's different." And bro, I can't, like, as a DJ, I think that was it. That was like where I want to go. I want to go around and create content. We've come back to the UK. We've joined up the Scratch Link Up community. I don't know if you follow them or see what they do, what we do.
I've seen that, which is a group of other people who are, you know, celebrating kind of turntablism and on these portable turntables, and just linking up and just doing.
It's hard, man. It's hard. It's like, it's really weird. Like with DJing, just because you might have a lot of skill, but if you're not being discovered, then no one's really gonna know about you. And like, what was the tallest mountain in the world before Everest? It was still Everest. You know, so like, there's a lot of DJs, and that's what Scratch Link Up kind of brought. There's a lot of DJs that had phenomenal skills. Like I've met some people that I'm in awe of. I'm just like, wow, these guys. But they don't get the bookings. You know, they're not like the big people on the circuit, and I just can't understand why. Their knowledge, how they mix is just like so much. It's just so great, but they don't get the bookings. And Scratch Link Up came up, and I suppose it started improving my skill set. You started meeting with people that are better than you, and they push you forward. But again, that was a portabilist lifestyle, and then we started making videos. Shout out to Menace, he was on here. You know, he bought a drone, and we started making little videos like that as well. Again, we're really passionate about what we do. You know, along the way, I do make a living off music, but it's been so hard because when you rely on music to make your living, unless you're releasing, unless you're getting the big stuff as well, like no DJ's really made it from just DJing, right? They've had to release music and had to do major stuff like Calvin Harris's, Steve Aoki's, Khalid, all of that. You know, they've had to do it. I mean, there's not many DJs that can truly say that they've made it just purely by DJing, and it's a real world. So I think I put a lot of pressure on trying to make it through DJing and not working. Like, I haven't held a normal job since oh man, I don't know, at least 15, yeah, probably like 12 years. Yeah. You know, and it's been mad. So like, it's been going on, and touch wood is going. So it can work, but I think you just have to really push really hard and be different and find out what you're trying to do, man, because it's so shallow. If your only dream is to be a DJ to like get girls and you know, hang out in the clubs and get drunk and mash up every night, man. You're killing my craft. And as much as I might sit there and appreciate you doing, like, I can't respect you. And if you're killing off my craft, then I have a problem with that, because I'm proud of what I do. You know, I'm proud of what I do, and I think I should always push it a little bit more. And it's just weird. Like, if I see someone, like, good DJing is important, bro. Definitely important.
No, I'm with it. I'm with it. So I remember the first time that we actually linked up, and I was doing these lives. Like, I had just started to, like, consciously think, let's start doing these lives. Like, I wasn't really that comfortable with having my face on the camera and stuff like that.
But it's so pretty, man. It's so pretty.
Thanks, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you,
it's so pretty, man. You moisturize.
Yeah, man. I got it over here. And so someone told me, reached out to me. They're like, man, you need to reach out to this guy, Doni Brasco. Like, he's dope. Like, speak to him. And I went to your site or your handle, and I was like, all right, damn. I was like, he looks legit. Da 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 da. And then I saw DJ Sharad. Shout out DJ Sharad from New York, and he was saying, like, he was shouting out a couple DJs, and he had your name in there. So I was like, okay, he must be legit. He must be legit. And so then we started. Then somehow we got connected, and we started talking. And I remember when we were talking, and it was like you were telling. It wasn't like those most first conversations when you have a conversation with somebody and you're trying to hold shit back. It was like you were telling me what your ideas were. I was telling you what my ideas were. And they all lined up, right? And that's when we were like, okay, let's try to do something. And that's how Rum and Roti effectively came about, right? Which I think was just dope, right? It was just dope to connect with another genuine person who loved music and was trying to do the same thing. But what's been your inspiration for trying to link the communities through music? What's been the driving kind of force to why you've been trying to do that?
I live in a mixed community. A lot of my friends, again, because I'm from the hip hop side of stuff, and I love hip hop. I love listening to the lyrics, and I think just by where I live and the exposure I've had, I've definitely got into the more urban side of music. Like, I don't want to be non-politically correct here as well, but I'd say it straight up, like the black side of the culture. Like some of the people that I hang out with, like I started working in a record shop, and then I used to hang out. Like when I worked in this record shop, I was young. Again, this is after I left security, because I don't want to do security. I started working in a record shop. I used to get £20 a day plus a Subway meal, or like, you know, chicken burger meal, like
a foot long or
a foot long. Yeah, you know, a foot long. If I ask for a foot long,
they give you that 12-inch.
No, bro. Well, he used to look at me funny if I asked for a 12-inch though. Like, you know, he'd be like, "What's wrong with the 6, bro? Lose some weight." Like, still. But you know, it was a good vibe. So even hanging out there, like we used to have Terror Danger. Like, you know, I don't know if you've heard of Terror Danger. Terror Danger's a very influential guy who brought a lot of people like Bruiser, Chipmunk. You know, he's done a lot of things for a lot of artists that have kind of come through. And he had I don't know. I think something happened. I don't know if it's stroke or whatever, but he got some kind of brain damage. He's completely paralyzed. Like, he's in a vegetable state now, and it's such a shame. And he's in palliative care at the moment. You know, and like I met him through him. I met people like Bruiser. I started working on a pirate radio station, Flavor FM. So even in that whole culture, like the people I was hanging out with, we started hanging out with a crew called East Connection and another DJ called Frisky DJ, who does like he does a lot of events at Wembley. He does all the old school back to the 90s, Jodeci, all those type of events. So just in the kind of like environment I started hanging out, I was so lucky, bro. My set was just before the Nasty crew that used to come in. The Nasty crew were Kano, Jammer, and Marcus Nasty. So they used to come in, and I used to do a show, and I'm like a good little Indian boy, you know. Mum tried to send me to a grammar school and private school, and you know, I was at uni, and I've come there, and I'm moving around Ruffins, and I remember coming out of this, I remember coming out of the club once. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning. Frisky used to do his late night show. We came out of the club, and we heard a gunshot. There was a club called EQ there, right? And there was a gunshot, and I'm standing, I've frozen like, what the fuck's going on? And my mate Frisky, he's like shouting, he's hiding behind a car, and he's looking at me, he's like, fucking hide! You know, like, you know, this kind of stuff. So it was just weird. Like we were all going in there because I never saw no difference. I thought a lot of our challenges are quite similar. I thought a lot of our foods were quite similar. I thought a lot of what we do are quite similar. I was raised like my mum. She was a single parent, and she had a job. Her first ever job was at TFL, and she used to wash dishes. She used to wash dishes like when she came over, because even though she used to teach back home, because her English wasn't good, she couldn't get a teaching job with it. So she was washing dishes. My dad left, and she bought a house, so she was doing that. And I remember what she used to do is my childminder was my next door neighbor, who was actually a woman from Jamaica, called Auntie Jill. And she used to look after me. She would look after her nieces and nephews. There was like about 10 kids all in the house, and she would cook all the food. We'd all sit there together having like curry lamb or curry mutton or like soups and, you know, all kinds of stuff. And like I'd never experienced crab, but she's served me crab sticks, bruv. I was like the only brown kid walking around London at that age eating crab sticks like it's normal, you know. Like it was a thing, bro. It was the thing. So she kind of raised me. I got into the culture, and you know, learned a lot, and just kind of the vibe. And what was quite similar is the whole family values is very goddamn similar. You know, don't talk back to your parents, respect each other, be polite, talk, say hello, say hi, you know, shake hands, look at me when I'm talking to you. Like that's a fucking Asian thing. Like I was really well behaved, but there was a guy called Bam Bam. He was a little nephew. He was a fucking nutter, bruv. Like he was a nutter. And she would beat him if he didn't look at her, you know, like when he was talking or apologize and stuff, man. And at that exposure, I was like, okay, cool, man. There's some similarities with Asians here. And I felt the struggles were the same, man, because like I joke a lot. I live in East London, and I say to a lot of my friends, I'm surprised I'm not a drug dealer, you know, because it's really hard. It's like East Ham is like the ghetto, you know, it's just really messed up. It's a bit like the ghetto. But it's kind of hard. So I think when I grew up, there's a lot of problems. And on top of it, I was suffering a lot of racism here. Like I was beaten up a few times in the local, white people here. Gotcha. So like when we moved into East Ham, this was like the area I live in, it was predominantly before there was a lot of Asians that kind of moved in around Upton Park and stuff. So I remember like I was once, I don't know why I was I thought it was just because I was fat, right? I really thought I was a target because I was fat. But it started working out when people were calling me Dirty Packy and stuff like that, you stinky Packy. And then people walk past and say, big pack, like, and then I'll be like, what? And they're like, Big Mac, right? And stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of that going on. And I was walking down my road one day, and these boys went past, like they were chasing me a lot. And they would just get off their bikes, the BMXs, and bloody attack me and stuff as well. So when I saw like other people, I'd be like, we're the same. You know, we're the same. There was a guy called Uzo, who's another big boy, man. But I remember he used to get like attacked and bullied a lot as well. But we kind of stuck together because he was a year older than me at school, but he would fight a lot of people at school as well. But because he used to catch the same bus as me, because we studied quite far, I just felt a bit connected to him. So when I used to see him on the bus, I felt like, respect, my boys bro, there. Like, respect, yeah, like even though he don't know me and shit, man, right? But even though he doesn't know me, but I just felt like there was some kind of unity there, man. There was some kind of unity, and then we just kind of just hanging out with the music. I think it was definitely when I started hanging out at radio, my whole judgmental Asian side of it. Because like my mum, you know, my mum was innocent as well. Like she used to turn around and say,
"Why radio? What radio have to do with it?"
Well, beforehand, like, because my mum's a single parent, back in the 80s, right, being a single parent was like quite a dirty little thing. Like, I was a dirty little, you know, it's dirty being a single parent, you know, like the woman's loose and this and that. So as an Asian community, we were kind of ousted as it is. You know, we didn't really have, and there's a couple of episodes that just weren't kosher. Like any Asian, there's like married men trying to make moves on my mum, bro. Yeah. Like it was just disgusting, and I started hating my own Asian community. So I went through this whole thing where I lost it a little bit, but I couldn't stop it. When I heard an Asian song, the food, going back to India, all of the shit really excited me. But the Asian people hated me. Like I was mate. I got kicked out of someone's house because they found out like I haven't got a dad. Like that was deep, bro. Like that shit was shit really hurt. That really hurt. So when I got to radio, I was like that outcast, started doing radio shows. And even when I got to uni, I was like the only brown person in this whole campus as well. So it was just weird. I think my upbringing was very varied. I met a lot of people, didn't get on with a lot of Asians. But I see a lot of Asians now, and I understand the mentality. I understand that they're scared. Like a normal Asian thing is, like, I suppose it's anyone. You see a black guy, they're gonna get they inaugurate you to be scared. And even maybe when I was younger, I was probably said that that I should fear it because it's like, but I should fear it, like, you know. And I feel it's really hard, man. You know, films like adulthood, as much as they draw real culture, but people that don't look past the superficial stuff, when they look at that, they generalize everyone. Like, I remember when the whole kind of campaign went on about hug a hoodie, you know, like when that whole hug a hoodie, like when I look at, do you know about that campaign? So no, like, you know, hoodies were banned in shopping centers and stuff like that.
No, I didn't know they got banned in shopping centers here. No.
Yeah, they were like, they didn't want hoodies coming in because people put in hoodies. And then there's this whole thing where like certain cultures have reps.
Yeah.
Right. And become stereotypes. And it's so like hard to kind of break those, man. And I don't know where it goes on, but I just feel it's a lot of, I reckon a lot of difference is because of not understanding or no knowledge or a lack of knowledge.
100%. So what I'm thinking about is like, I'm thinking about, so one thing for
Shout
me
to the Filipinos.
Yeah. So one thing for me has always been like, Indian project, it's got to go to India. It's got to go to and I'll call that the motherland, because I want to hit them in the face. I want to be front and center, right in front of their face, right? And I feel that a lot of this stereotypes and all that stuff, and I've spoken to other people, even Priya's mother. I spoke to Priya's mother, and it was like when they were coming up and going through school and stuff, what they were being taught about Black people and Black culture, like imagine that. There's nobody there repping. There's nobody there that they have for as a touch point. Somebody's telling them stuff from a book, and that's it.
Sorry, man,
we're gonna cut it off here in a second. No, don't worry. So the reason why I want to get over to there is because like I feel like they need to see people in the flesh who are repping this. They need to see this artwork in the face that we're repping this. They need to hear the Desi DJ who can make this soundscape that sounds completely crazy, you know, like this Visa Tours #2. Like it's gonna start out like Visa Tours #2. We're just gonna be talking, man. It might just be someone talking about a relationship. They may mention some crazy shit about like they're 7 or 8 and someone told them about this BMW stuff and don't mess with Black people, don't mess with Muslim people, blah blah blah. It might be something crazy like that. It'll just be a series of stories, but it'll just be a crazy soundscape with like hip hop beats and Desi beats and all of that stuff, man. So I just feel like
we should work. I would love to work on
100%.
I'd love to work on something like that.
I'd
love to work on that because
I haven't told you about it, but I earmarked you for it. When I heard Visa Tours, I was like, "Yep." That intro to Visa Tours, I was like, "Yep, that's me," and that's how we're gonna do it, man.
Yeah, it's got to be. It's big. Like I sat there when I released that mixtape. I thought to myself, like, I want everyone to feel that when they've experienced what I've got to show them, that they feel like they've grown through it. Like we should grow through every experience, and that's what I believe. So when I made Visa Tours, my idea of it is that there's a really good poem in there called "Blame Muslims." It was done by my friend Humble the Poet for Google. Right, so it's called. It's a little snip in there. I think it's about track 19 or so, maybe not even that far. But it's called "Blame Muslims." So it's just loads of children talking about that, you know, Muslims invented algebra, Muslims invented clocks, so we should blame them for having to wake up on time. We should blame them for having hard lessons at school. And it was so amazingly cleverly done, you know, and I thought, how else are we ever going to get things like that heard and put out? And I thought, it comes down to me, like, don't get me wrong, man, I've had so many meetings with the Asian Network, and he's always told me, like, it's cool, you know, I don't get thousands of hits on my mixtapes or on what I do. I don't. But for somehow I'm really known in the industry, in the Asian industry especially. Like everyone generally does know me, right? Everyone knows of me, right?
So
but I don't get.
So let me tell you one thing. So Almas.
That sounds so egotistical.
Is it Almas Badat? Is that her name? Almas, yeah.
Almas
Badat.
Right.
B-A-D-A-T.
Anyway, Badat, yeah.
There's a DJ, she DJs in London, and I remember her mother reached out to me and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know Doni from from the Asian radio station. And I had someone else reach out to me today as well too, like, oh yeah, I know this guy, like he's really genuine guy and stuff like, and I know him as well too. So so I know what you're saying, man. People know you.
Humble's my boy, by the way. Humble's a really good guy. So anyone ever question if Humble is as true as he puts out, I've got to say this, right? Because Humble the poet, when I was at my lowest and thought I could never DJ again, gave me the opportunity to do my first gig with him in the UK. And we put a show on back then, and it was because of him. Like, he didn't know me for shit. He met me twice beforehand. He saw who I was and what I went through, turned around and said, bruv, what's your energy? I go, I need to live. And he goes, let's do it. And that was it, bruv. We put a show on, sold it out in like 8 hours, bruv. It was fucking mental. But Humble the poet is a real guy. And if there's anything that ever wants to help anything, listen to his music and buy his books. Straight up, bro. Straight up. You should get him on here, Jonah. You should get him on here.
Well, all right. Make the link, man. We'll get him on here. We'll get him on here. Right.
Get him on here.
So everybody, we could talk for probably another 2.5 hours because I always tell Donnie I'm gonna call him and then I never call him back. I just flake out. So that's on me.
Right. But, busy, bro.
So what we normally do is at 10:30 we jump over to Rum and Roti, which is at RUM_and_Roti. And tonight we have who's the DJ from BBC who's on? What's his name?
Right. So basically, I'll give you a quickly intro. I'll do an official intro when we go live on this thing. So Kai is he's now a very good friend, but we met through the industry. So I DJ with Rackstar, who's a rapper from the UK, and through Rackstar we end up going to a lot of these events that have other artists working with them. So I met Kai when he was DJing for an artist called Nish and Mumsy at an event. We started talking and we spoke a little bit, and our visions are very similar. And like he's a flipping funny guy, bro. He's sitting right there, so I don't want to big him up too much because he's gonna get a big head, right? Yeah. But the vision, the understanding, the knowledge, and the drive and the expectations. Like, you know, when I talked to you about all the ideas I had, I don't care if you steal them, because when I say this needs to happen, I don't care if anyone steals it. Because for me, when I think of them, I feel they need to be done. Like, when I said to you about Rum and Roti, like, you probably sat there and felt like, this guy could do it on his own. Why does he need to tell me and shit? Like, you must have thought that. And you must have thought a lot of people. And people say, so why are you working with Jonah? You know, we've never even met, bro. But I have trust in you. I have trust in you because at the end of the day, it's the vision. Because I believe that there is a place where you can see a carnival dancer and a Bhangra dancer doing a dance-off. You know, you can see that. Like, I can see that, the colors, the music, the vibrance, the drummers, the live instruments. And I thought, fuck, let's do it. I want to do it. And that's why I said to you, because I think that needs to be out there. You know, when I was talking to a friend of mine, and they told me about roti rolls, and then I spoke to my mate Scratcher, shout out to Scratcher as well, Scratcher. Like, I was talking about Rum and Roti. He goes, I want to come on. He's going to come on Rum and Roti, but he's from Luton, so getting down here is a bit difficult. So we'll sort it out, and he's really busy, and he's up 24 hours a day and stuff as well. But we get Scratcher down. But this guy, he turned around, and I met him at Represent Radio. He was doing a show there. And he turned around and he goes, brother, you and me need to have a real discussion. I go, what about, bro? He goes, who owns Roti? Is it a black thing or is it a brown thing? Because we own Roti. And I'm like, what? No, bro. Roti's chapati. That's what we do. So, you know, when we had that real conversation, I thought there's just so much more that needs to come out. And we can invite those cool kids. We can invite those people that sometimes feel non-accepted but know themselves well. You know, and the ones that understand. And I always think, like, I really get, I don't think things that happen that are bad in life are you know, like, so, I don't know, like the Black Lives Matter, when the attacks happen, I don't agree. Of course I don't agree with what the police are doing. I don't. But I also don't think the way to work it is by attacking everyone for it. Right? I think more conversations need to happen, and more conversations with influential people, and more real conversations. And the problem is most of the influential celebrities of the world are fabricated network of things that are there to just sell their products. So then our conversations don't get out to where they need to happen. And the minute anyone talks about something that isn't the norm, like, I don't know, if I go out and do a post that's not about DJing and I start talking about, like I've done one recently about mental health, I found it hard to kind of share that because it's not in line with what my work is, and I don't know how it's going to get received. And that's what I feel. I feel just more conversations need to happen, more areas where we hang out together, and more commonalities. Like, bro, I'm gonna be real with you, right? And this is not a dig at anyone. We've been putting out that we need more DJs, and the DJs that are hitting me up just turn out to have to be brown. Now I understand it might be because that's what my network of DJs are, but I'm looking for more black DJs that turn around and say to me, bruv, I like Asian music. Like we had London Brent. My man killed it. He played tunes I didn't even know, Asian tunes that I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like my man killed it because he actually goes out there and he hunts, and he's listening on Spotify or on YouTube, and he's like, she's got a vibe. This will work with this, or this will work with that as well. And that's what I want. But correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not seeing that from the other side, bro. And that's something I wanted to put out to you. That how can we do that? Is it just because my network's not right?
From the black side?
From the black side that listen to Asian music as well.
Yeah. So look, like I was saying, this guy November Rose, who I think he's in Atlanta or the
That's a urge, bro.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy November Rose, check him out. I think he's in Atlanta or like LA. He's down with No Nazar. Like he's mixing it, right? I think in general there aren't a lot of.
Do you know what that means? No Nazar.
No. It's like No Evil Eye or something. Is it something like that?
Yeah, my G.
Yeah. No Evil Eye, something like that. But this whole Evil Eye is like a whole new concept to me as well too, man. Like I'm not on this. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing me, man. This Evil Eye, like go away, man. Go away. But there aren't many people who are mixing the cultures together already. But no, I'm gonna put a shout on our IG looking for DJs in general, right? DJs in general. Yeah. And yes, I do agree that we need more black DJs that are willing to mix it. I would even like to get some white DJs that are able to do it, because at the end of the day, like the first time when I spoke to you, and I said, does there have to be a particular color for the DJs? And it was like, no, it doesn't matter what color they are. It's just about their appreciation for music. And I was like, that is love. That is love.
Yeah. I mean, I have that playlist on Spotify, the biggest, baddest bourbon playlist. I have that on Spotify, and it was the word bourbon that was interesting. I have two coin terms for the type of music I play. One's dip hop and one's bourbon. Bourbon is brown urban. Dip hop and bourbon.
Okay.
Right. So bourbon was brown urban, dip hop is desi hip hop. So there were the two kind of genres that I kind of I want to kind of push forward. And yeah, like I forgot what my point is, but I smoked too much weed and that I just forgot what the hell I forgot what my point was. And then someone called me and it messed me up, and he's eating chicken, it all messed it up. But yeah, I just want to say, the reason I mentioned bourbon. So bourbon was my brown urban music, right? But for me, one of the biggest pioneers for bourbon music is actually Timbaland.
When he was because he did a couple tracks, didn't he? He did Indian.
Well, nearly every tune that he's done like has some kind of influence in it, and it's like, so we've got the Rum and Roti playlist up there as well on Spotify. Plugs, you get what I'm saying? I'll check them out, by the way, right? So we've got that playlist, and if you go down to there, look at the producers on there. They're not generally all just Asian producers, but you'll be surprised how many classic hip hop tunes and classic tunes that we know every day have Asian bits in them. And when you realize that, bro, you're sitting there thinking, what? Like Timbo put a video out where he sampled a little bit of an Asian tune, and it was the undertone that went in, put it in the game tune from the documentary album.
Gotcha.
You know, was that right? Am I thinking of the right tune, bro? Put it in the game. Was it the game? Put it in the game. I think it is. We'll have to double check it. Someone have to
when I think of Timbaland, I think of he did this. Timbaland did this Indian food song.
Yeah,
I know he did, and he might have done a couple other Desi type to style songs as well too. But sounds dope, man. The shit sounds dope. Whenever I hear it mixed together, like with a DJ who knows what they're doing, like dope, absolutely dope. Like, and it makes me and it reminds me of like if you go to like a Blindian wedding or something like that, right? Because usually the DJ is going to be playing like they may be playing some Michael Jackson, but they may be playing some like Bollywood or something like that. and it's just a vibe. It is an absolute vibe.
Yeah.
So I don't, and I'm not out clubbing every week. Even pre Corona, I wasn't out clubbing every week. So I just don't know why more places aren't really doing it. But that's fine. They can sleep. We will do what we need to do. And that's our swim lane. So
we'll make a home, bruv. We'll make a home. We'll make a home. It will come. Build it, and they will come. Hopefully.
Yep. 100%. Bro, it's 10:34. I gotta let you go to let.
I need to get everything ready, man, and get on this thing.
Love.
So just let you know, we're going to be streaming on Instagram, and if anyone is on Twitch, because I'm going to slowly start bringing the whole Rum and Roti show to Twitch, because it just seems a really good platform to build a community, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get a musical, and we need to bring the food aspect in, man. I need to work on the food aspect of it right now. So shout out to anyone that's involved with the food. Just join us. So I'm going to start moving it to Twitch, but we're doing a stream on Instagram and Twitch today, so you can check it out. Brasco Lounge on Twitch. We'll be live there. I'll be hosting it for Kai. We'll both be hosting today. It's a full hour set, and it's going to be exciting. What's going on today, man?
Let's do it, man. It's a vibe.
Thank you for having me, Jonah, man. Seriously.
Thank you for linking, man. This makes up for all the times I said I was going to call you at night, and I never fucking called and texted the next day. And I'm
in it, bro. What the hell, man? I always wait for my booty calls, and you just leave me hanging, man. You're like the worst. You're the worst girl I've ever had, bro.
I know. Sorry, bro. Sorry. I'll make it up to you, man.
Still got love to. I know, man. My birthday's coming soon, innit? My birthday's coming. Yeah.
All right. Let me know. Okay. All right. Cool, man. All right. Cheers. See you
One
soon.
love.
Bye.
Peace, everyone. Love.